Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to an episode of the Abundant Accountant Podcast. We are here live. I got my partner in crime, Denise, here. Denise, hello. Thank you so much for being here. Can you please introduce yourself for everyone that might have forgotten who you are?
Oh my God, how could they forget me?
I don't
I'm
know.
Denise Mandel. I am Michelle's partner in crime at the Abundant Accountant here on the East Coast, representing here in New Jersey. We got lots of love. We're circling the whole country here, and I have Michelle and I. Can you believe it? It's almost 3 years we're working together now that we're
3
doing
years?
this. It's almost 3 years.
Holy moly, time flies. Like
Yeah.
three years is a long time. So all of you who've owned an accounting firm for 3 years, you can probably understand what I'm talking about, right? You work a lot, you got a lot of clients, and I mean, in our world, geez, time flies. That's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Well, I love having Denise on the Abundant Accountant team, Pitch Queen family. I just don't use my real name, Michelle Weinstein. I'm not related to Harvey. I just like going by the Pitch Queen. But this is the Abundant Accountant podcast. So you are at the right department of your accounting firm for that 30 minutes or so that we're here. Haha. But today we are talking about the 3 questions to ask your potential clients to get a yes. And it's so interesting. I just went to this hostage negotiator class, and they always talked about getting a no from a client. So we're going to talk about the opposite today. We'll do another episode on how to ask no related questions because that's actually really interesting and fascinating, and it works like a charm. It's just a different way of thinking. So that is what Denise and I are talking about today because I know a lot of you struggle with knowing what to ask potential clients, or maybe you feel like your conversations with your prospects are just kind of boring and dull. Has that ever happened to you? So, if that sounds like you, then you're like many of the accountants that we've worked with, and being able to connect with your leads, ask them the right questions is super crucial to having them say yes to you, yes to your services, yes to your increased fees, and yes to working with you. So, in today's episode, we are going to have a discussion, a conversation about why asking the right questions is so important. And we will give you 3 examples that will get you closer to acquiring your new clients, the right clients that also pay you what you're looking for. So, does that sound like a good idea, Denise, of what we're going to chat about today?
yeah, sounds awesome because, I mean, even for you and I, before, we had to kind of figure out like what to ask people that would
Yeah,
have them be engaged and excited to have the conversation. Because you know what? It's not about you, right? It's
it's
about
not.
them.
It is. It's always about the other person. And at hostage negotiation class, it was even more about the other person because it was so interesting. Chris Voss, if you guys have never read the book, Never Split the Difference, it's a definite one. You should probably hop on your Amazon right now, hit purchase, or on Audible, or on Apple Books, or whatever you call it. But he's like, Michelle, do you think that I had anything in common with someone who's holding people hostage, and really thinking about the questions and what to say to them and what to ask them and the prep work that they do and how many people help them on a team. It's literally fascinating. So, they and what was even more interesting, Denise, is he didn't have any common ground. He's like, "Do you think I have anything in common with them, Michelle?" I'm like, I guess not. If you're not kidnapping people and holding people hostage, I guess you really don't have anything." And what it came down to was that this has nothing to do with you. And he had to put all of his energy and focus and and work into making it 100% about the other person to be and live in their shoes and listen to a way that you've never listened before in order to enroll them into not killing people. So, obviously, when we're selling our bookkeeping and profit first and tax planning, we don't have those kind of stakes on the line. But it does. I know, right? I mean, I've always wanted to be in the FBI. That's actually that's actually been that was one of my dream jobs. Yeah. And I told them that. I was like, this is so awesome. We got to play these games like 60 seconds or die and get the hostage guy car, or without getting him a car and talking him down, and really talking like this. He talks about having a DJ radio voice. So I'll talk to you about having a DJ radio voice right now when we're asking our questions to our clients. No, you don't need to go that far, but really the goal of asking questions, and Denise, maybe you can think of a couple, is is really when we're the one asking the questions and listening a lot, you really have control over the conversation. So if any of
Absolutely.
you ever felt that you really don't have any control over the client conversation when you're meeting with a new client, a lot of it has to do with, if they're the one asking you all the questions, then they're in control. So when we ask questions, we can actually let our prospects and clients talk a lot, and then we listen. And again, it has nothing to do with you. So think about, what are you listening for when they're talking? And that's a whole different. We did a listening game at hostage negotiation class. It was like 4 hours long. Holy moly. Like,
That's a lot of listening.
it's exhausting. Yeah. So at
Yeah.
least you guys only need to do this for 30 minutes to an hour with your clients. But imagine 4 hours of listening. Woo! Crazy. But one of the one of the goals of asking questions, and we've got a few of them, is really to understand why a prospect is coming to see you. Why are they looking for a new accounting firm? Why are they looking for a new accountant? What are they not happy about? What did the last person screw up? And think about the questions that you could ask in order to get to the real answer, right? Because it's actually really a good one to figure out. There's always a reason why someone might be looking for a new accounting firm or a new accounting professional. Denise, what other ideas do you have, as far as, or not ideas, what are the other goals of asking questions to our prospects?
Well, it's a great question because really by under by being able to ask the right questions, not just any questions, the right questions, not only will you develop a rock solid relationship with the person that you want to get to know better and that you may want to have a long-term relationship with, but you're going to get the information, you're going to develop that kind of the basis or the foundation for your work with them, or if you even want to work with them, right?
Yeah.
But I think what people don't understand is that they, especially, we work with a lot of accountants, right? So they want to just get right to the sale or right to telling people what they need to do and all that kind of stuff without really helping the client see, because they don't know what they need. Sometimes they don't know what they want. You've got to help people uncover the truth. And by asking the right questions, then you can
Yeah.
get to the root of what's really going on. And you're going to uncover more value,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I think, like what you said, it's getting to the truth and the bigger picture. And we have a class going on right now for you all listening. If you didn't know, we do have an 8-week sales mastery training. Yep, I'm pitching ourselves right now. But we just talked about this in our class. And in class, we use an analogy of an onion. And I'm going to talk about my onion because I use an onion when I make my tacos. And I make tacos every week. It's either tacos or taco salad or breakfast tacos. And when I make my tacos, Denise, I know you've had my tacos. I think you've had my tacos. I could open up a taco truck, but I promised myself I'll never get in the food business again. And imagine this onion. And the crispy outside part, it's like orange and yellow, and you have to throw it out. You can't even cook it. That would be like your surface layer question. And if you stick with surface layer questions, you're never going to really get the why behind the why. You'll never really get to the juicy part, the inside of the onion. And inside the juicy part is where all the fun lives. And that's really where you can build a deep connection with your clients and really be able to serve them and uncover that value, because that's where they're going to be, that's when you'll be able to see, oh wow, I can really help these people. Now I can start talking and sharing how, because you've let them talk and uncover all the different layers of the onion. So you got your crispy part,
Yep.
and then you've got like that first rim of the white part, but it has a little green on it. I remove that part. So when we ask questions, we also want to remove that green outside layer of the onion. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper. My onions usually have like 12 to 13 layers, but you don't need to ask 12 different questions. But just think about the onion maybe in like four parts. So the
Ooh,
outer layer,
I just
what?
thought of something too,
Go ahead.
right? So as you're peeling the onion, do you ever notice that's when your eyes start watering more? That's where you get to the emotions, right?
Yes.
And that's where people buy from emotions.
That that is a great analogy. People buy feelings, which AKA feelings means emotion. And I know a lot of you, I mean, I've got, one of my good friends, CPA. I got a lot of you friends as CPAs, and you truly do, some of you just want to get to the point. Like, here's the price, here's my proposal, and then you wonder why no one's really engaging with you or saying, "Oh, you're too expensive." It's because people don't buy based on price. It doesn't work like that. People will pay a lot of money though to get out of a problem, or to really fix a pain point that they're having. They'll pay top dollar for that. So, when the onion makes you cry, and when you can imagine that your clients are crying because they've overpaid the government by $100,000 or $200,000, now you've gotten to the why behind the why, which is the core and the middle of the onion. So if all you take away from today's episode is that you want the onion to cry, or to make you cry, which makes your clients cry, and that you're getting the onion in the middle, and then you're like, Michelle loves tacos, and she threw out all the other parts, but the middle part's the juicy part. That is really what we're looking for. And the closer you get to really what someone pain points are, challenges, what keeps them up at night, the easier it will be for them to just say, you know what, I need your help. Yes, I want to work with you. Like, you won't even really need to ask sometimes. It's very interesting how that, if you didn't even need to really ask to work together with that client, you did a really great job.
Yeah. One of our students that just happened to, right?
Who?
Um,
Share it, remind me.
yeah, I mean, Sisha should be, they were saying,
Oh,
the
that's
person was like,
right.
yeah, okay, I'm ready. Here's the check,
Yes,
right?
that's right. Sisha is in her class right now, that 8 week sales mastery training. Um, and that happened. And she said, I can't believe how much I didn't talk. And a lot of you, we think, and I mean, I sometimes make mistakes and talk too much. And that's okay. We're not, no one's perfect. But honestly, the more the other person is talking, the more you get to learn. And then, they, and that client that Sisha had ghosted her. So not only were they probably, didn't have the best sales process the first time around, so then they got ghosted, but then she did our follow-up process, had another meeting, and got a new client. And that client was worth over 30,000 in revenue every year. And their first month was paid up front. So good job, Sisha. Um, what other goals are there, Denise, in asking questions to prospects? It's what we call one of the biggest pieces of the sales process. For if you're wondering, and I know you're wondering, well, Michelle, what questions would you ask? We're going to get to that in a second. But we're talking about the goals. So the goals meaning the outcome. When
Right.
you're working with a prospect, or you're like Sisha, you followed up with someone who ghosted you, or you're reconnecting with someone from a year ago, you really need to know the outcome before you can receive the results that you're looking for, which is probably a new client.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, the goal is to uncover what it is really that is their problem, like uncovering their pain, uncovering their challenges, uncovering what's important to them.
Yeah.
Why
It's
are
kind
they
of
even
like going to
here?
a doctor, right? And if you just walked in the doctor and they just diagnosed you something without asking you their 8 million questions, right? Every time I go, I'm like, oh God, you want to roll your eyes and you're just like, you're not gonna like trust that doctor, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because they can't help you if they don't know what's going on, right? Well, it's the same with you as a professional accounting professional. You've got to find out like more than just looking at their tax return. I mean, that'll tell you some stuff, but what got them there?
Yeah. What's,
What got them there? How did they get there in the first place? And where do they
yeah.
want to go? Like not just like where they are now, but where do they want to be? And why aren't they there?
Yeah, it's important to understand all that. And, if you go to the doctor, I should have gone to the doctor a couple weeks ago, but I just didn't have it in me. I got the combination of like the flu and the cold all in one. But if I would have walked in the doctor, they would have said, when did the symptoms start? How long has this been going on? How long have you been glued to your couch? Right? Like they're going to ask you all those questions. And my doctor's really, really good at this other important thing that you should know that you need to have prior to asking questions, which is remembering to have and build some rapport. Now, at hostage negotiation class, it was really funny because Chris is like, you're taught to learn and have common ground and rapport, and people buy from people they know, like, and trust. I'm like, yep, that's true. And obviously it has to do with what is your business? And for us, well, us meaning I pretend I'm an accountant right now, but us meaning the accounting community, you do want to build rapport and common ground and understand what is important to your clients. And I'll do another episode on this, but real quick for fun, you can just remember it as forms. So you want to understand about their family. You want to understand about their occupation. Maybe how did they get into it? If they're a neurosurgeon, what inspired them to go down that path? Like really understand the history, right? Like someone's personal history. Remember those boring history books in school? I don't remember any of them. I get my history lesson in watching documentaries these days. Um, R, yeah, so you got your family, you got your occupation, you got your R, which is what do they like to do in their recreational time? So, do they like to ski? Do they like to go to Italy? Do they like to go hiking like me? What is it that they love to do? And then M is who, like, what's memorable to them? Who do they look up to? Like, if you know, a question I like to ask for this, if you were able to have dinner with anybody you could have, who would you have dinner with? Denise, who would you have dinner with?
Well, that's a hard question. Uh, I don't know. Hadn't
I
really.
I I would have dinner.
James Taylor. That's who I
James
would have to.
Taylor. Okay. I would have dinner with Elon Musk. I'd have dinner with Oprah Winfrey, right? So if you think about it, you're going to learn a lot about me just by the way I answer these. I would love to have dinner with Richard Branson. Um, there you have it, right? So if you start to actually understand these things, that is part of the building rapport process that you can incorporate when you're asking your questions. Any other goals when asking questions before we dive into a couple of examples? Because I know everyone probably wants a couple of examples.
I think we covered it pretty good. So
We're good? Okay.
yeah.
Let's go through the first example. And then we had another client. She was in our last class, Diane. And Denise, maybe you can share about that because what Diane learned, I mean, she used to go just like straight to the I'm busy. I have a lot of tax returns. I've got a lot of clients. I've got 5 minutes for you. Here's the price, blah, blah, right? We skip over the question department. Then we wonder, well, why did that client tell me I was too expensive? Or where did they disappear to? Oh, they ghosted me, right? And we don't get the results. And then if you aren't able to help them, then they're still in a bad position. So here is an example of a question that you can ask a business client. So let's say you have a new client coming into you. They own a business. You're maybe going to do some profit first consulting, maybe a tax plan, maybe some monthly bookkeeping, maybe some accounting, payroll, you name it. Business clients, you can offer a lot, right? One of a good that crusty outer layer kind of question of the onion, right? That part that I was talking about earlier when I make my tacos, I do throw it away, but it's an important first question is where are you feeling most stuck or frustrated in your business right now? And because Denise and I are here, we can role play this so you can actually hear an example of how this could go with your client. So grab a pen and paper just in case you need to take notes. And you probably have a yellow notepad sitting right next to you on your right or left hand side if you're a lefty. So, Denise, are you ready to role play this?
I'm ready, baby.
All right. So, Denise, where are you feeling most stuck or frustrated in your business right now?
Well, this year's been kind of tough already because um, we're coming up on the next quarterly tax estimated tax payment, and I need cash flow for my inventory,
Mm.
and so I'm constantly looking for new places, trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, and it's just, oh my God, it's exhausting.
So it sounds like you're having some financial challenges as it relates to managing your cash flow and having enough to fund your inventory.
That's right.
And how much longer can you keep going that way?
I don't know. It's really been keeping me up at night. You know,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, it could put us out of business if we don't figure out a way to get things rolling the right way.
Wow. Put you out of business?
It could if I don't have enough inventory to supply and demand, right? You know, it's kind of that thing. Like I have people want to buy, but I don't have the inventory, so I got to find the money to pay the inventory, but I got to pay the taxes. So like, which do I do first? And, all of that.
Yeah, and I know that you're married too. How is this impacting you at home on a daily basis? I mean, you said you can't sleep at night.
Oh yeah, well, my husband's always like, can't how come I can't talk to you? You're always working, what and then he'll ask me, "Oh, we need to pay this bill," and I can't do that now, or so I'm always
Mm.
snapping at him, and yeah, it's not good.
It seems like it's really stressful.
Yeah, it is.
Got it. Okay. So if you were listening, you can email me and tell me what are the three pain points that you heard just in that scenario. So we took off the brown layer, we took off the green, we went a little deeper, and it's affecting the relationship at home. Like we started cash flow problems and then we went into more depth. You can email me at hello@thepitchqueen.com and maybe I'll give away a reward or something. So Denise, do you have anything else you want to share on our first example question of the day?
So I think you could hear, Michelle, you did an excellent job, right?
Oh,
Where
well,
first
thank you.
Yeah, first you started, top layer, just like kind of 30,000 foot view, right? Of
Yep.
just kind of a general question. And then as you were listening for things that, a place to go deeper with me to really find out, well, how is this really impacting me? Like what's really going on here, right?
Right.
And I think that's what we're trying to share with people here is that's the inside of the juicy part of the onion, right? Is like what's really going on, because shoot, if my business could close down and my marriage is like not good, how much do you think I would be willing to pay to get out of that?
Yeah, I mean, if your services were a few thousand a month and that cured you, you would probably do it. It's like going to the doctor and they say you've got cancer and if you invest 10,000 in your health, it'll be gone. You probably will do it. So
Yeah.
again, you want to listen for what is the problem, but what's the why behind the why, right? Like why was she having cash flow problems? Well, it sounded like she was borrowing money here and there just to pay and make inventory, but yet still have cash flow. And if it continued that way, her business might go out of business. Okay, well, that's why I asked, how much longer can it keep going that way? It's a great question to ask if someone is talking about cash flow or anything that might come to a screeching halt. And actually, I dealt with that problem personally with my last business. So, no fun. And I would have paid a lot of money to get out of it, but then I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing today. So,
Right.
and then another thing is that a lot of times our work also goes home, right? And what if, I could have gone down another path. Wow, is your husband also involved in the business? How does your husband support you with this? Like, there's so many different ways you can go down this, but again, this is just an example of how you can take it deeper. Um, you could have asked I could have asked, how is it impacting profitability? Maybe I didn't talk about the husband. I could have said, how is this impacting you on a daily basis? She said she couldn't sleep at night, or, it was hard, she was losing sleep at night. Really? How many hours are you sleeping a night? Well, if
Yeah.
someone tells you 3 or 4 hours a night, that means they're on the verge of burnout and it's not going to last much longer.
Yeah. Or you could have said, something like, so are you concerned has that impacted your health yet? Are you concerned about that?
Oh, yeah. Health is a biggie. A lot
Mm.
of the business owner clients you work with might have some health challenges. Um, So we've definitely given you more than three examples, but we're going to keep going. Another example of a question, if you have a business client, and you'll be surprised how many actually don't know the answers to these, are what are your key performance indicators, aka KPIs, right? That's another great question. And a KPI can help you guide your future layer questions. So again, these first questions, and you have to do this work before you meet with a client, by the way. You can't just like show up and wing it. That doesn't work that well. But making sure you can get to the inside of your onion and knowing the specific outcomes that are important to your clients, because if you understand where they want to go, well, if you manage their monthly bookkeeping, if you help them manage their taxes and take a proactive approach versus a reactive approach and have them skip a couple estimated tax payments, then voila, you're in the right seat, right? So again, you could also ask to take it a little deeper. Which of these KPIs, depending on what they tell you, do you think would have the greatest impact on your bottom line or profitability, especially if you just talked about profitability? So those are just a couple of examples. Denise, do you have any other example questions? I know we promised 3 questions to ask our potential clients to really get to a yes, but we can do one more role play.
Okay. So Michelle, I'm really curious. What what was it that had you come here today looking for a new accounting professional to work with?
Well, my current CPA is so busy that they never respond to my emails or ever call me back in a timely fashion. And I really feel like I'm running my business blind. And I have yet to get any reporting.
Wow. So your current accountant doesn't respond in a timely manner, and you feel like you're running blind because you're not getting any reports. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, how does that impact your ability to be productive on a daily basis in your business and make decisions?
Well, it's really hard to make decisions when you don't have the proper reporting. And it really feels like I do everything like behind the times. Instead of being ahead of the game, I always feel like I'm behind trying to catch up.
Mm. And what does it feel like for you always trying to catch up and feel like you're behind?
It feels like I'm a really terrible swimmer on a swim team.
So, okay. Um, you're a terrible swimmer on a swim team. It seems like, if you're a terrible swimmer on a swim team, does it feel like sometimes, like you might even like go underwater sometimes? Like, if things
Yeah,
keep
like
going this
I'm
way.
drowning.
Yeah.
Like I'm drowning or I'm swimming on a terrible swim team upstream and it's double slow.
Mm.
Yeah.
So if things keep going this way, how much longer can you keep swimming and surviving? It sounds like really exhausting.
Yeah, it's exhausting and that's why I'm sitting here talking to you. I can no longer keep going that way.
So, Michelle, if you had, what are some things that you haven't been able to do that you would like to do, but you can't make those decisions because you don't have the numbers you need?
I would like to purchase some equipment. I'd like to get better pricing on some of my inventory. So if I actually knew where the cash was in the business, then maybe I could spend a little bit more and make sure I could manage and fund the inventory. I feel like the profitability could increase, but I just don't know.
Yeah. And what have you tried to do so far to fix this?
I booked an appointment with you.
Okay, got it. So you get the idea here where we're going, this back and forth, right? It's
Yeah.
yeah. So what do you think was uncovered just as a result of us this little back and forth exchange? How did that feel for you?
For me,
Yeah.
Um, well, I felt like I was being heard. And so when Denise was talking, she understood that I was swimming upstream and I mean I had fishies flying in my eyes and I was on the swim team going up a creek, but a lot of your clients feel this way. So, for all of you listening, I know we're role playing and we're making stuff up, but the truth is this stuff really happens and it's our job as an accounting professional, especially if you own your own business, you're a partner in a firm, you are responsible for bringing on clients. This is important to understand because this is the important, juicy stuff. And asking the right questions will help you get to the real why. And when you get to the real why, then people will enroll in your services. So
Yeah.
start using these questions to build deeper connections with your clients, getting the why behind the why, getting to the juicy part of the onion, and show them by asking good questions and being a really good listener. And you'll notice how Denise also repeated back a lot of what she was hearing from me so I could confirm that she heard me right. Then you show them that you understand them and that's valuable to a client. In addition to that, most of your competitors are not doing this. So if you start to do this, your clients will definitely notice it and feel heard. Um, I don't know who I was talking to, one of my other students the other day, and they said, wow, it's Tisha. Tisha said this to us, right? Her clients really felt heard and that they were cared for. And that's what will happen with this. So before we say adios for today, Denise, do you have anything else you would like to share? Any insight, something that possibly I forgot about asking potential clients these great questions? being super curious when you ask it, and just pretend you're visiting with your doctor. Anything else?
Yeah, right. I think just, just really practice, even just for fun, like with your family, whoever you're talking to, like really getting good at this and having fun with it will take the pressure off so that when you are in front of a prospect or a client, it's just going to feel more natural and you're just coming from a place of curiosity. This is not about manipulation or anything like that. This is really just coming from a place of really being curious and understanding more about them and what's important to them and what's really going on and how is that showing up for them, not just in their business, but the rest of like there's so much there and like really helping understand that that's what had me have clients that stuck with me for 20 years because they
Yeah.
knew I cared and they wanted to work with someone who was interested
Yes.
in getting to the
Interested.
source of things, right? Not
Yes.
just, somebody who's not going to respond to their calls or, really care when they really need them and they need you.
They
These
do.
people, they
They
do.
definitely need you. And if you need us, and if you're not really where you want to be in your accounting practice, that I get. Denise and I understand that. A lot of our accounting clients come to us feeling really stuck and frustrated. They wing it, they go into meetings, they're not prepared with questions. And really, what we found is that they are just not really charging their worth. And it comes from not having a solid system in place. So we have a system in place. It's something that the two of us created, and we have this information that we'd love to share with you. So if you want to build your firm, feel confident about selling high value services, you can book a free call with one of us if you've been in business at least 2 años, 2 years, okay? And you can book that at theabundantcall.com. Once again, it's theabundantcall.com. And we will talk to you about where you're at with your sales process, where you could see maybe improvement, so you can build your dream practice, work less, have time and money to enjoy more with your family and kids. So, once again, head on over to theabundantcall.com to schedule your coaching session with myself or Denise. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It was an honor to be here. Put this into practice. Send us your wins to hello@thepitchqueen.com and have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode.